Hey everyone, welcome to the monthly Astro forecast for July of 2026. Very happy to see you guys today and to be talking more about this very special month. It is actually a month that is gonna end up in the history books. We've got a very special alignment coming up, and I cannot wait to share a lot more about all of that. But of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here at the Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic channel on YouTube, and of course, also here on Rumble. If you guys want to book in a personal astrology session, then you can find that at the Beyond Mystic consultation page, and you can use Beyond Mystic to get 10% off. Now, we've also got a very cool summer sale, you guys. All the workshops, meditations, and the Beyond Mystic conference, the replay is all 50% off. So promo code is summer50 and it's going to be valid until July 1st. So make sure to use that before it runs out of time. And we've also got the insider access pass that is now also 50% off. All right, you guys, let me know how you are all feeling today. So, hey Stain, and also hey Amanda, thank you guys for joining. Now, I've got some pretty important stuff to share with you guys, and as you can see, StreamYard did an update, so I was actually figuring out a little bit of stuff before I jumped on here. That is why I'm running a couple of minutes late, but we are now within the portal of the full moon in Capricorn. That will be on the 29th of June. So that's actually tomorrow. On the very same day, we're also going to see Mercury retrograde kicking off. So things might feel a little bit heavy right now. If you feel that, just know that that is completely normal. Capricorn, that is really about like seriousness and heaviness. And there can be like a weight on your shoulders right now. So let me know if you're feeling that. And if you do feel that, just know that this is only a temporary moment in time. Full moon in Capricorns are, in my opinion, not really something to look forward to because it's always about like our structure and stability, and it takes a lot of effort. And it's like we need to reflect on where we are putting our time and energy in. So that is like a little bit of the current energy in a nutshell. And yes, Stain, thank you so much for mentioning that. Don't forget your Jupiter in Leo course. Tons of info. Yes, you guys, I've actually hosted the Jupiter in Leo workshop this very Friday. And if you want, you can still, of course, watch the replay. There is a lot of information. I've did a reading on the 12 signs, and each sign got like over 10 minutes specifically about the Jupiter in Leo transit. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the summer of love, in my opinion. But first, we need to get through the Jupiter-Pluto opposition. And I'm going to highlight that in this presentation. That is going to be a pretty big one, you guys. It's not something to be messed with. I'm not over-dramatizing it at all, even though Jupiter in Leo can expand the drama. But the fact that Jupiter will oppose Pluto, that is a very big deal, you guys. And of course, they seeded their like conjunction that actually happened in 2020. So in 2020, Jupiter and Pluto were together in the sky, and they have created a very big redistribution of wealth, and not in the most possible or like positive way. So the fact that they're now reaching an opposition, whatever got planted in 2020 is now going to see a continuation of the story, and that is going to be a pretty big deal, you guys. Definitely also in regards to the financial system. That is going to be a very, very big theme. Now, of course, whatever got seeded is now receiving an opposition. So oppositions are always difficult aspects, you guys. There is a tug of war in the sky. We're also seeing like the massive alignment between almost all of the outer planets at 4 degrees, which is like going to be massive because we've never seen something like this before in like recorded history, you guys. So honestly, a lot of astrologers have been talking about this month of July for a pretty long time, and it's like they're all positively aspected. So that is actually good news. Still, the Pluto Jupiter opposition can throw a lot of like challenges into the mix, and we are going to have to go through some growing pains. But still, these growing pains are in the end going to lead towards like something very, very beautiful. And I definitely think that the past 6 years were pretty hard, you guys. And now, with this beautiful basket formation, and I'm going to show it in the chart for you guys, that is now like getting formed here in July, that is like we are ready to start releasing the very difficult energy that got like attached within all of us and within society during 2020. I think now slowly we are going to get out of the more difficult energy. Of course, it's going to take a couple of extra years. So I do not want to be one of the astrologers that says that this very special alignment here in July is going to like take away all of your problems, because that is not going to happen. But still, there is a very beautiful opportunity to have some major blessings, to have some major growth. But we are going to have to go through something first before things are going to get better. This is a very big seeding moment. So, of course, if you see or look back at 2020, what that like triggered within the collective, that had like a very long like aftermath. Now something beautiful gets like planted, but still we're gonna have to be a little bit patient, you guys. So do not listen to too many people who say that this special alignment is gonna make everything okay. We can have very beautiful blessings, yes, but we are gonna have to go through some challenges as well with Jupiter opposing Pluto. So many people in the chat here. Hi, Linda. And John is here as well. It was good to hear you will take care of yourself and be taking a break. Good for you. I don't remember saying that, but you're probably mentioning my last video on my personal channel where I did a very short video about the full moon in Capricorn. You can definitely check that out as well. But yes, we all need to we all need a break right now. And honestly, that is because of the full moon in Capricorn that is happening tomorrow. This is making a very difficult adverse aspect with the ruler Saturn. Saturn is in Aries. We need to all be a little bit more patient right now. And the fact that the full moon in Capricorn, which already like illuminates a lot of heaviness, squares off with the ruler Saturn, that just adds a lot of like heaviness into the sky. And I've received so many messages of people like, why do I suddenly feel like a little bit depressed, or I feel a little bit let down or disappointed, or like the results that I was hoping for are not really present right now? That is completely normal. Saturn is just like really refraining and putting a damper on the normally more ambitious kind of Capricorn full moon. So do not let that get you down. If you like encounter some kind of like a hiccup or a delay or some kind of disappointment, it is all necessary, because we need to like jump tracks right now. That is definitely also one of the key themes right now. If some things like block, or if you feel like you're hitting a wall, it is just like a very big course correction that is happening right now, and it will become way more obvious by the end of July into August, and when things really are gonna start shifting massively, because we are now getting ready to tap into the energy of the solar eclipse in Leo that is about to kick off here on August the 12th as well. Major energy. It's going to get pretty loud. It's going to get a little bit wild as well. The fact that Mercury is about to go retrograde as well. Honestly, you guys, it's like so warm in my room. We are in this very intense heat wave here in Belgium. My fan just gave up on me, so there's like no wind blowing in my room. And on top of that, my neighbors just decided to mow the lawn outside, so I had to close my window. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be pretty interesting Mercury retrograde. And of course, the retrograde is connected to Uranus in Gemini, so this one can act a little bit more disruptive. So with that being said, I hope that kind of illuminates a little bit of the current energy that we're in right now. But let's look at the month of July, of course. Yeah, like Judy says, I am totally feeling this energy. I feel like I've been navigating through a mud puddle. Yeah, that is like so beautifully said, Judy, because yeah, I think a lot of people feel the same energy. And it's important with Jupiter that is about to ingress into Leo to focus on the stuff that really makes you happy. Let your hair down, go dance, music, singing, dancing, all of that, like painting, being creative. When we feel blocked in certain like aspects of our life right now, it is going to be like the biggest remedy to start tapping more into our creative power right now, because Jupiter is really going to like amplify all of that beautiful energy. So yeah, if you want to know more about that, you can definitely check out my Jupiter in Leo workshop. So, yeah, like so many people feeling very heavy and moody. Yes, moody. Oh my God, I was in such a bad mood a couple of days ago as well. And I was like, this is not my normal self. But it's just like granddaddy Saturn and Capricorn, and they're so strict and so tough. And they just like ask you to keep going, to keep putting in your commitments. But now we're getting like, yeah, faced with which commitments do not work anymore, or which commitments take too much of our energy and our life force. What is working, what is not, where do we see a return on investment? And if we feel too blocked, then we really need to like reprioritize right now. And Saturn here says to the full moon in Capricorn, only commit to the things that work for you, or that you want to really like build upon for the long term. And if you feel stuck and if you feel like you're hitting a wall, maybe now is the perfect time to just like let it go and start tapping into the Jupiter in Leo energy that will also be present here within a couple of days. And that is really going to shift the mood. But first, we need to get through the Pluto Jupiter opposition. So, um, that is beautiful, Stain. Stain says the past 6 years have uprooted my life, planting my new life into that basket. Yes, let's look at the basket. Hey, Maribeth, and we've also got our beautiful Katie in the chat. Hi, my fellow pirate from across the pond. So happy to see all of you guys. Yeah, Amanda says I'm just loving chilling out. Like with the Capricorn full moon, it can be a little bit more difficult to chill out. That is definitely what I'm feeling. But I am also a cardinal sign, so this full moon squares my sun, and I'm like, yeah, not really being able to shine like I normally would. So if you're also a cardinal sign, which is of course Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, then you can feel a little bit more moodiness up into the air. Or if you are a Gemini or Virgo rising, your chart ruler is about to go retrograde, so things might not like develop as planned, and that is completely normal during this time. Um, Also, hang in there, Astrid. Yeah, it's like it's been warm here. It is like Amanda also says major heat here in the UK too. It's been like crazy. Yeah, lots of crying. That is completely normal during full moons, but now especially with the adverse aspect towards Saturn, that can feel like too much, too heavy, too like depressing. And it's okay. Just like look at what it's pointing out and look where you can change certain things. And maybe we need to redirect our ambition into something else right now that is going to make us more happy. And of course, a lot of people tend to have a lot of ambitions to be able to show to other people, like, look what I've got, or look at the success that I have. And but now we're coming to like a realization that having like $1 million on your bank account and having a successful career and having the ability to buy like a luxury car and all of that, there can be a lot of confrontations right now that is also not the thing that's going to make you happy. So it is really about self-love as well right now. And Mercury retrograde in the sign of Cancer, Cancer rules over our emotions. It's going to bring a lot of stuff back up from the past, which it normally always does. But in the sign of Cancer, Cancer rules over the past. So there are like a lot of wounds coming up that are connected to the womb, to motherhood, to yeah, the mother archetype, also like being able to receive. And right now, within the next 3 weeks, a lot of memories from when we were a child are going to be brought back up again. And I would say connect to people that you had a good bond with within your childhood, and like just like reminisces about like what happened in the past, and try to talk through it, try to process it, try to feel your emotions, try not to overthink too much, because the south node, which is in Virgo, the sign that likes to like really overthink like 24/7, that is about to leave soon. The south node is going to jump over into Leo here during this month of July as well. The north node will enter Aquarius, so we're in for like a very big major vibe shift in the month of July. Honestly, July is like, in my opinion, the month that 2026 is like finally going to kick off and things are finally going to start changing. And I'm really convinced that the second half is going to bring up such a major transformation that now we're going to start to see the shift really like manifesting within our lives. Uranus is, of course, also still squaring the north and the south node. I've been hearing about a lot of accidents, a lot of people who are breaking their feet or their arm or having a car accident, or yeah, there is like a lot of unpredictable energy in the sky. And this week, you guys, like next week, of course, it's Sunday today, but next week is going to be one of the most volatile weeks of 2026. And that is because Mars, the planet of action, drive, and also conflict and like frustration, is going to meet up with Uranus in the sky. Now, of course, it is already into orb for like the last week. So next week the energy is going to come to a head, and then it will linger for another like week after that. But just guys, I want to warn you, I do not want to dramatize it, but if there's like 1 week of 2026 where you can have like something very unexpected interrupt everything that you're currently dealing with, then it's going to be next week. And it's in the sign of Gemini. The energy is more intellectual, but still Mars and Uranus conjunctions, they're very volatile, they're explosive. Look at what happened in Venezuela, the very big earthquake, and there are other places on earth right now as well that are getting triggered. That is the Mars Uranus conjunction. So it triggers, and it's like a very explosive, dynamic, unpredictable, erratic kind of energy. It can feel like a lightning strike. And you guys, like here in Belgium, last night, a couple of nights ago, even last week, we have been having this constant thunder and lightning. And this night I was on the beach looking at the lightning over sea, and it was just like lighting up the entire sky. And I'm like getting these shivers thinking about it, because it was actually a very beautiful moment. But I know it's so strongly connected to Uranus and Mars coming together. So there are a lot of thunderstorms, there is a lot of frequency, electricity within the sky right now. And that is also going to be able to manifest within our life. So, Katie says crappy rising, but you meant Cappy rising. So yeah, if you are Capricorn rising, then you can feel a little bit crappy rising right now. So Katie, I actually love your typo because it kind of really sums up the energy of this moment in time. So, Aquarius, Amanda says Aquarius here. So the North Node is going to enter your sign. A lot of destined changes within the next year and ahead, actually the next 18 months. So, Katie says, been dropping bad habits I wasn't aware of. Well, that is always beautiful. Yeah, Genova, feel better. I feel sick from yesterday. I don't eating anything, tried relaxing my body. So Mercury retrogrades, they are very famous for bringing down our immune system. A lot of people tend to get ill whenever Mercury goes retrograde. So take extra care of your bodies right now. Yeah, like Fusili says, big thunderstorms here. I hope this doesn't cut out. I want to send you all ravens. Well, that's very beautiful. Yeah, Uranus and Mars together is creating a lot of activity within the skies, you guys. That is really, yeah, fastening my seatbelt. It's gonna be necessary. I would like double click it right now. Definitely in the next week. So yeah. Um, yeah, hold on to your heads and your emotions. Go outside in nature, chill out with the trees and the water. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. That is definitely going to be very necessary here. So, with all of that being said, let's look at the presentation for today, because of course you guys in the States are about to hit the 4th of July. So a lot of celebrations, a lot of like good things, a lot of like fairs and things to do. Be careful, you guys, with like big crowds, because with Mars and Uranus together, we are going to see we're going to see some difficulties within big crowds, you guys. So here we see it on July 4th. It's going to be exact Mars conjunct Uranus at 3 degrees of Gemini, but the energy is already very palpable. It's already like going like when the energy is building in astrology before the exact conjunction, that is like when it's at its strongest. So mostly when it's like at the exact conjunction, things sometimes already happened. That is why I've been hearing so many like unpredictable energies or like unpredictable happenings from all my friends and my clients as well. They're saying like, oh my God, what is happening right now? Well, it's Mars conjunct Uranus. We get this conjunction every like 2 or 2.5 years, depending on if Mars goes retrograde or not. But like this is like a 2 year cycle, and something new that is getting kicked off, you guys. When we had the square back in February, that is the like adverse aspect between Mars and Uranus. That was actually on February the 28th, when everything started with the whole war in the Middle East. So that like the previous meeting between Mars and Uranus was a square and a difficult aspect, and that is when the first bombs got dropped. So now they're going to be on top of each other. Now they're going to merge. Whenever they merge and whenever there's a conjunction, that is like very, very strong energy, you guys. It is not to be messed with. It is not to be underestimated. Do not take risks. Try not to explode. Try not to like fry your brain, because that is also like a possibility here with it being in the sign of Gemini. So Murray asks, hi, what caused all of the earthquakes on Wednesday? It's Mars Uranus, you guys. They're very famous for triggering the tectonic plates, for extreme weather, for thunderstorms, lightning, all of that. So unfortunately, we're going to see more of it, especially next week or in the coming days. So Mars Uranus, wow. We can see also power outages, a lot of violence, a lot of accidents. When they meet, Mars, that is about like action, movement, conflict, heat, urgency. And Uranus is disruption, surprises. Can also be about a very beautiful breakthrough, but still the breakthrough is going to be accompanied by something that you were not like aware of before. And maybe you're going to have a good breakthrough, but it's going to be accompanied by something uncomfortable. That is also very possible here. So put these two together, you guys, every 2 years, and it's like plugging a power cable directly into the collective nervous system, because Uranus rules over our nervous system, and Mars is just like adding so much heat and violence towards that, or action towards that. And in the sign of Gemini, that rules over our communication and also transportation, the media, technology, travel, commerce. So this aspect accompanied by Mercury retrograde, not a good time to travel. And honestly, you guys, with the full moon right now in the sign of Capricorn, it's at 8 degrees. That is a Scorpio degree. Capricorn is connected to the government or like very high up institutions. With the Scorpio degree, we can see some very intense stuff that they're going to announce, and probably some new rules that are going to be announced here and tomorrow on Monday, because astrology today is kind of not so pretty, to be honest. We can have some very important like news tomorrow, or we can wake up and think like, oh my God, what is going on? Or what are they announcing now? Or which new rules are they starting to implement now? And it can feel a little bit much, honestly. So expect a lot of disruption in the next week. And of course, the last time that we saw a Mars Uranus conjunction, that was actually in during 2024, during the Pennsylvania rally, like in Butler, Pennsylvania, when we saw the assassination for President Donald Trump. So that is like a very good explanation of how this energy tends to come out, and we can see more assassinations, or like possible assassinations on world leaders, but like not specifically only for the US, but like for the entire world. It can be like a global theme here in the next couple of days. So we are going to see some disruption and some chaos, you guys. Just be aware of that. Take some extra precautions. Do not take risks. Also, Gemini rules over transportation and being on the road. If you feel angry or aggravated, do not go driving, you guys. We are going to see some very severe car accidents, unfortunately. Uranus is like what you do not see coming. It comes like out of the blue. And Mars, that can be about like getting yourself hurt. Mars, it rules over heat, bombs, knives, guns, needles, all of that. So be a little bit more careful. Now, if you need to like heal something and you have it positively aspected within your own chart, then you can have a very big breakthrough. But still, be a little bit more mindful that this is like a very unpredictable energy, and what you thought was never gonna happen, that is probably gonna happen. It's like not the things that you're thinking about right now. It is more about the things that are lying outside of your awareness. That is why this one is such a tricky one. And the fact that it's happening during these very important celebrations, you guys, that is a big deal. Be careful in big crowds, you guys. I'm not like, oh, I'm like not dramatizing it. So also, yeah, this is like energy that triggers people that are gonna behave like, all right, I'm gonna quit my job, I'm gonna leave my relationship. And it's just like about erratic, unpredictable behavior. So people are gonna make some decisions that are gonna be very like over the top or like unexpected or like maybe even too much. So be a little bit careful of not causing too much chaos and disruption if it's not really necessary. Also, this is going to bring some very, very, very important developments that are going to involve technology or like artificial intelligence or something connected to social media platforms, transportation systems, communication networks. All of that belongs to Gemini as well. But this is like sparks are flying and there's going to be a lot of fireworks in the US. But you guys, these are the biggest cosmic fireworks that we can see. So be very, very careful if you're about to light some fireworks, because it's already like very explosive and we are going to see something. Another thing that this can trigger is definitely Cuba. Watch Cuba, you guys, because this Mars Uranus conjunction is also not well aspected for them, honestly. We might see some very because like Mars is of course also about war. So there can be like an unexpected new war popping up as well, and especially for the United States, because they have this conjunction within their seventh house of allies and open enemies, and that is going to cause some disruption here. And we are going to see this aspect multiple times here over the next decade. So within like 2 years of time, this energy is gonna come back, and then within 4 years of time as well. So this is like gonna be a sneak peek of what is like awaiting you guys within like 2028. And 2028 is gonna be a very difficult year. So I'm already like giving that to you. Not to demotivate you, just to simply make you guys aware about this current energy because it is important. I do not want you guys to get hurt in any kind of way. All right. Then we have the Sun square Saturn and Aries. That is like after the explosive Mars Uranus conjunction, this is very different energy. And Mars and Uranus are like a lightning strike, but then Saturn here is like the builder who like shows up after the like lightning strike and is asking like, okay, how are we gonna rebuild? What are we gonna do about it? And of course, squares, they create friction, and Cancer that seeks comfort, but it's going to be very difficult to attain that. Aries wants independence and forward momentum, and Saturn is sitting in Aries and is teaching us all a lot of lessons about like personal responsibility and also how we show up within our own sense of self leadership. So many people are going to feel temporarily blocked, tested, delayed in some kind of way. And this is just like adding more on top of the energy of the full moon in Capricorn. That is also already like a kind of a bummer. So you guys, if you feel a little bit unbalanced right now, just know that we have a lot of difficult aspects in the sky. But of course, things are going to get better. That will be more towards the end of July. On the 7th, Neptune will go retrograde, the planet that rules over spirituality, but also confusion, dreams, the mystical side of life. When it goes retrograde, the energy is more turned inwards. So it is really about like reconnecting with the inner self, tapping into the energy of the Mercury retrograde in Cancer, looking at our emotions, feeling the sensitivity, not being afraid to being confronted with that, to really look at what's bothering you, look at what's blocking you, because sometimes when certain stuff gets blocked, it is actually a blessing in disguise because it wants us to maybe make a turnaround or focus on other things that can then give us way more blessings. So do not fight against the current. Like, honestly, especially the first week here of July, we can feel like we're all like in our kayak and we are pedaling and it's like the tide is against us, the wind is against us, and we can even feel no matter how hard we try to keep moving forward, we can feel like we're only going backwards right now. And then Mars Uranus can make us feel very frustrated in some kind of way, but it also can give you like the final blow to really like explode in some kind of way, but not in like a temper tantrum kind of way, but more like an explosion of energy to like finally break free from something. Because Uranus also wants us to liberate. So maybe we need to jump out of the kayak, stop paddling, and just start swimming with the current instead of like fighting against it. But a lot of people are not going to want to leave their kayak. So that is going to create some issues within the collective for sure. Try to move with the tide, you guys. Neptune retrograde, it also rules over oceans. So connect with the depths, connect with the hidden emotions, connect with the things that actually feel spiritually rewarding. But we are going to need to look more inward for that during this time here in July. Also, then on July 10th, Venus is going to enter Virgo. And this is honestly more bad news because Venus does really not like to be in Virgo. So enjoy your time until July 10th while Venus is still in Leo. That is way more flirty, but it's more focused on the self. But still, Venus is way better in Leo than in Virgo. So Leo is a sign that rules over like attention and recognition and heartfelt expression. But then when it shifts over into Virgo, she's gonna stay there until August the 6th. Venus is in fall in Virgo, so she cannot express her like softer qualities as easily anymore. So Virgo tends to analyze, it notices all the imperfections, and she wants to focus on all the details, and she wants to improve what isn't working. But that can feel like a very nitpicky energy. And yeah, I would be very careful not to become too critical of your partner, also not to become too critical of yourself, because as soon as Venus enters Virgo, she's going to align with the South Node on July 10th as well. So the South Node, that is a portal of release. It has a very devouring aspect to it. So this is like a very big karmic month of relationships here for Venus. The fact that she needs to pass on the south, like over the South Node, that is about release and completion and letting go. So a lot of friendships, Venus, but also romantic relationships are gonna start to feel a lot different, and people are gonna like, yeah, not feel so lovey-dovey during this specific time, and a lot of unresolved relationship patterns from the past are going to resurface. But it can be difficult with Venus and Virgo, and it does not necessarily need to mean that everyone's relationship is going to end. No, but everyone is going to be way more focused on what isn't working, and that can feel like heavy on top of all the rest as well. So the energy is going to become more unpredictable here with Venus, because on July 13th, she is going to form a square with Uranus in Gemini, you guys. So Venus square Uranus. Uranus wants freedom, authenticity, honesty. But under this particular energy, every relationship that has become stagnant or restrictive in any kind of way is going to experience a lot of tension. This could actually even lead to wandering eyes. Venus square Uranus is very famous for that. A lot of people are going to crave more independence, or maybe they're going to start realizing after all of the heavy energy into Capricorn and the full moon here as well, that they actually have been compromising too much, or that the heavy burdens weigh too much upon the shoulders. On the other side, this can also bring unexpected attractions, but they're gonna be very unstable, you guys. This is not the best time to enter a new relationship, honestly. There can be surprising reunions, there can be changes within like relationship dynamics. But if you are within a healthy relationship, then you can actually benefit from this, and you can actually break your routine together, and you can plan a spontaneous, fun adventure, and maybe you're going to allow the other person more freedom or more room to breathe and to grow. And sometimes a little bit of excitement is exactly what the relationship needs. Sometimes a little bit more freedom can revive the relationship as well, but you're going to need to let go of control. Then on July the 21st, Venus is going to square off with Mars. So the energy starts already on July the 21st, but it will be exact by the end of July, but it will be a building square. So the energy is already going to start being noticeable from like the 21st. And this can be a very passionate signature of Venus. Attraction can be heightened, chemistry can increase, emotions can become way more intense, but the squares can also create a lot of impatient energy, mixed signals, and a lot of people, if they feel emotionally restricted or friction, then they're going to react very impulsively. So small disagreements can definitely escalate way more quickly than expected if some people are going to become stubborn or defensive. So um, there can be strong passion, but also strong conflict. Actually, this is going to be giving strong emotions overall. So make sure that you channel that wisely. And the fact that all of this happens during like the Mercury retrograde as well, a lot of the communication issues and misunderstandings can really like come to a peak by like the last week of July, and people are gonna be like less tolerant or less patient with like things not going as smooth as we would like. Then on July the 12th, we see the Mercury Cazimi at 20 degrees of Cancer. 20 degrees, it is a Scorpio degree, and the Mercury Cazimi always brings some kind of illumination. So if you've been waiting for an answer or an insight or some clarity, then this is going to be one of the moments of July when that revelation is probably going to arrive, or things are going to become a little bit more clear, even though it's a Mercury retrograde. In Cancer, that is going to be connected to like emotional patterns and realizations on that. um, so then on July the 13th, we see the square between Venus and Uranus, which I already touched upon. So if we then look at the next slide, we are seeing a new moon in Cancer on July the 14th. So I've actually blotted out the other planets so we can really put the focus on this new moon that is again going to square off with Saturn. Now, of course, because Saturn is in Aries, every full and new moon within Cancer or Capricorn is going to square off with Saturn. So it is what it is. Saturn is going to stay here for a little while longer, you guys. So this is also like karmic, like retributions or repercussions, or like things not moving as fast as we would like, or like a heavy dose of responsibility, maturity is needed. And of course, the new moon in Cancer, that is of course the moon and its home sign. So it is a very important new moon, and this one is extra special because it's conjunct Mercury retrograde. So a lot of energy here is being projected within our emotional landscape, within the home, within like the nourishment and all the foundations upon which we build our lives at home. So look at who you live with together. Look at how you can communicate your emotions towards them. There can be some like issues because do you remember a couple of days ago, you guys, if you follow the weekly or the Divine Oracle show, we were talking about Mercury squaring Saturn and how a lot of people got like old anxiety getting like re-triggered. Well, we're gonna have to go through that again, as you guys, because Mercury will prepare itself to square off with Saturn again as it like goes retrograde. So whatever gives you like fear or anxiety, look at where that pattern is originating from. It's probably a very beautiful gift from your mother or father lines, because Cancer rules over the ancestral lineage, and that is where we need to heal something within that. We have time to do that until the 23rd of July. Then the Mercury retrograde will be over. But yet again, this is putting a damper on being able to express our emotions. So it's going to be very necessary to journal about your emotions, to take some extra time out in nature, to not let the heavy responsibilities really crush your emotions. This is a time to revisit, revise, structure everything and look at certain patterns that are especially going to be connected to mother and father, on maybe how you've inherited certain conditional patterns and how you are now going to be confronted with what needs to be changed or addressed, honestly. So um sometimes the most important beginnings, because this is a new moon, sometimes they require a lot of patience before they like fully reveal their purpose. So that is definitely the key theme here of this new moon. And on a more like global level, this new moon deserves a lot of special attention because it's going to activate several important financial signatures within a lot of mundane charts, you guys. Definitely the one of the US. The new moon and Mercury retrograde are going to be in a part of the zodiac chart that aligns with a lot of important placements, especially for the Federal Reserve chart, you guys. That gets massively challenged and massively triggered here, you guys. And um, this is like going to be very significant for the financial system, and definitely what's about to follow here by the end of July as well with the Jupiter Pluto opposition. So look at what's happening with like the Federal Reserve and like the Treasury and all of that. We can see some very, very important things, you guys. And for the United States, this new moon is going to be exactly conjunct the natal planet Mercury. And Mercury rules over trade, business, deals, peace deals, communication, markets, trade. So the new moon is activating all of the mercurial themes while it's conjunct Mercury retrograde, you guys. So this is about looking back at past stuff, past agreements that are connected to like debt, interest rates, like inflation, taxation, financial markets, banking, all of that is going to be a major theme here, you guys, in the month of July. And it's not stopping here. It's like really getting in like an acceleration moment right now because on August the 12th, we see a solar eclipse in Leo, and Leo deals with the stock market and the bond market and gambling and casinos. And it's also about like speculative investments. And honestly, you guys, I think we are about to see an AI bubble burst. We're gonna see an AI bubble, I think, you guys, definitely within the next 6 to 8 months, especially next year also with Mars retrograde, and during the fall of 2026 for the Northern Hemisphere, we're also going to see a Venus and Mercury retrograde in the sign of Cancer. Scorpio, excuse me, squaring off with Mars, squaring off with Pluto. We are going to see a lot of like difficulties with finances. And like in July and August, we can see a peak because Jupiter is going to enter Leo here, and that can create like an uptick, and people are going to become overly confident, and they're going to start taking risks with their money. And then during the fall in October, November, we're going to see retrogrades that are going to be like, yeah, not so positive for the economy and for the markets. And people are going to be thinking, oh, well, yeah, this is just like a minor setback. And they're going to be overly confident with their finances. And then the real hit is going to arrive from January until April with the Mars retrograde from Virgo back into Leo. So I would all like strongly advise you to not become too overly confident with investments and with like speculative investments for sure. And we are going to see some bubbles bursting. Now, positive thing is that the housing market is about to explode. That is gonna go up massively here in July, and that is actually because of the basket, you guys. So here we see July 18th, 20th until the 21st. We see all of the planets at 4 degrees, you guys. This is major. This is gonna be a spectacle, and honestly, this is like very, very rare. We have never seen this before in like human recorded history. So I have nothing to look back on. It is at the 4 degree, which is a Cancer degree, and we already have so much things going on in Cancer, you guys. The new moon, the Mercury retrograde. We are all processing our emotions, and then all of the outer planets are going to align at 4 degrees, you guys. Look, this is incredible. And this is what's forming this basket, you guys. Here we can see it. It's like a basket, and this is the handle. And this is like honestly a very important portal. It is so extraordinary that I'm actually lost for words trying to explain this to you guys because we see so many aspects at the same time. It is truly fascinating On the 18th, Uranus trines Pluto exact. On the 20th, Jupiter opposes Pluto, which is gonna be a pretty tough one, you guys. Then on the 20th, also Jupiter trines Neptune exact. And then on the 21st, Jupiter sextiles Uranus. While Uranus sextiles Neptune and Neptune sextiles Pluto. Do you see how many aspects that are like kicking off in the same 3 days? This is like unheard of before, like never heard of before. It is extraordinary. It's gonna be massive, you guys. And this is actually a very big seeding moment. And the Barbel's basket, it is actually from an astrologer who also predicted the 2020 pandemic correctly. And so Barbo, he actually predicted for this special alignment that things are going to start to become better. That is like a very big new collective consciousness emerging, and it is actually a very positive seeding moment. But we first need to get through the Jupiter opposing Pluto, and that is going to be a bit more difficult, honestly, you guys. There is a very big financial story that is about to unfold here on the 20th of July and already like a week in advance when the energy is building. Of course, when these two, and I'm like, I do not have the time to highlight every aspect because that is just like crazy right now, but I will be highlighting Pluto opposite Jupiter or Jupiter opposing Pluto, because that is like, in my opinion, the most difficult one, because it's the only harsh aspect that we have, you guys. So this is going to create difficulties. It is a red line. This is a very intense planet. Yeah, of course, it's Pluto. And then we have Jupiter that is going to amplify all of the intensity. And Jupiter is in Leo. Leo is drama. So there is massive, intense drama. Like, you guys, I'm not over dramatizing it. We are like at a very special moment in time. Something big is coming, you guys. And I think we can all feel it. And this is definitely going to trigger something huge, something that has like never happened before. So it's actually extraordinary that we are here within this moment in time, that we are alive to actually be able to witness this. Even though it's not going to be so easy with Jupiter opposing Pluto, still, this is like a fantastic moment to be able to watch this very big, like, upgrading within the collective consciousness, you guys, because these are all outer planets. And outer planets, that is not like so special or not so apparent for our personal life. Outer planets are about what's happening in the background, what's happening with society, what's happening within the collective unconsciousness. So something is getting rebooted, something is getting upgraded, and this is going to be massive. Of course, Pluto, Jupiter, they always are connected to money, power, influence. All of that is like the dominant themes. And we've seen this pattern before. Jupiter Pluto conjunction in 2020, we saw the government and all the central banks around the world really respond to like the global crisis with like all of these unprecedented economic stimulus and also corporate rescue programs and all of that. And those decisions had very long lasting consequences. We saw like a transfer of wealth into the pockets of the one percenters who are already like dominating this world. We saw so many money go to the tech giants as well. And now there's some kind of opposition. So there's like a redistribution of like wealth. And Pluto is transforming the collective. Jupiter is about like happiness and prosperity for the individual. So I think this is also like about to kick off some kind of AI bubble that is going to burst, because it cannot continue like that, honestly. And look also back to May of 2023. Then we saw Jupiter squaring Pluto. That was like an adverse aspect, a square. Now we see an opposition. That was also so significantly financially, and all the events that were connected to that, because there was like a very big bank failure. I think it was like the First Republic Bank, but I am not a financial astrologer, not at all. Like, my North Node is within the second house of finances, you guys. Like, I am like not a good person to give you guys advice about that. But I am able to, of course, look at the historic cycles and look back into time. And there were a lot of like problems also with like JP Morgan Chase, and there was like a takeover by regulators before being like acquired by JP Morgan and all of that. You guys, I think a lot of you who live in the States have way better understanding about all of this than me. But again, we saw a very big theme of Jupiter Pluto symbolism that emerged around banking and financial institutions and like large scale economic intervention. So now on July 20th, we are going to see like opposing them, and that is going to like re-trigger certain stuff from May of 2023 and also January of 2020. So it's going to be important, you guys. Something big is coming in regards to our financial system. And oppositions, they always represent turning points or like confrontations or moments when important decisions need to be made. So the themes are going to be like new government policies involving finances. I think the treasury is going to come up very strongly. And it's also going to be connected to like technology and the tech giants. And all of the global markets are going to become like very prominent during the second half of July. Um, we saw another Jupiter-Pluto opposition in the same axis of Leo and Aquarius during 1789. It was the same year that the US Treasury was established during the presidency of George Washington. So history never repeats itself exactly, but there are going to be very strong symbolic echoes, you guys. But now it's going to be more about like artificial intelligence or digital payment systems, stable coins, blockchain technology. Yeah, it's going to be a big one, you guys, this one. And definitely it is about to unfold over the next couple of months, of course. And then the solar eclipse in Leo by the middle of August is definitely gonna like ignite all of it even more fully. So very interesting stuff, you guys. I'm actually very curious about what's to unfold. And of course, with the Mars Uranus conjunction here on July 4th, we can already have a lot of announcements that are going to be connected to this one, you guys. Because from now on, tomorrow, no, within 2 days, Jupiter enters Leo. Depending on where you are in the world, look at your own time zone, please. But then the energy is going to start to be building until the like end of July with this opposition forming. Yeah, exciting time, you guys. It's going to be something that is going to be pretty big. So then to continue, let me switch the slide. On July the 23rd, the Mercury retrograde ends and Mercury goes back direct in the sign of Cancer. If you have planets around 16 degrees of Cancer, you can receive some very important news from people from the past. You might have some very important family discussions as well. So keep an eye on what happens on this specific date. And the fact that we then have this very important basket configuration while Mercury retrograde ends. Like right now, you guys, it's like one thing after the other. July, it is like unstoppable. It's like bam, 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 bam. Like I've never seen so many badass things being kicked off at the very same time, you guys. Because look, on July the 26th, we see the nodes of fate shifting signs like on top of all the rest. Like we hadn't enough to deal with energy wise and shift wise. The north and the south node is going to shift. I am going to do a whole workshop about this as well. But still, the north node within Aquarius is going to trigger a lot of weird stuff, you guys. Aquarius rules over technology, artificial intelligence, all the social invisible networks that connect us all together. It's also about politics. And you guys, the North Node will be in the same sign as where Pluto resides right now. And Pluto has been digging up all of this stuff in regards to the Epstein files. And now collectively, we are getting pushed towards like exposing more of the truth that is being buried within society. Now, on the personal level, the North Node in Aquarius can be about embracing our own unique qualities, you guys. Uranus. Uranus, of course, the ruler of Aquarius, and it trines Pluto, that is within Aquarius. Then the North Node is going to enter that as well. oh my God, you guys, we are all being collectively pushed towards embracing our uniqueness, our authenticity. We are all going to be able to wave our freak flag, everything that's being looked at as weird or unconventional, or like, as an example, you guys, I was like at a very cozy gathering last night, and there were a lot of people there that I hadn't seen for a very long time, but that I was actually connected to when I was like in my teenage years, partying a lot when I was younger. And I just knew when I was gonna go there that a lot of people would be judging me and my current job, and I just like prepared myself for it, and I do not mind it. It's okay. But after triggering certain stuff within the group dynamic, Aquarius, they started to come back around so easily, so fast, and like their jaw was dropping, and they wanted to like all book in a session, and they were like laughing at me because they were telling me like, Astrid, this is like your best networking event of the entire year because everyone wants to come over for a reading. So it's like the North Node in Aquarius. Aquarius also rules over astrology. It's all going to become mainstream and very popular, and a lot of people who we sometimes consider more of a normie, and I actually do not really like to use that word, they're all going to become way more like open-minded and like being able to tap into like the things that are lying outside of their awareness. And it's actually very beautiful because I felt very heard, I felt very seen. Mercury retrograde, friends from back in the day who were like really opening up towards all of these stuff that they normally consider a little bit strange or a little bit weird. And I was like, yes, mission completed. Wait until the North Node enters the sign of Aquarius. So we, as like this beautiful community, have been planting so much seeds within the collective, and now with the North Node entering Aquarius, we can definitely see them getting like manifested or blossoming even more, you guys. So that is actually very beautiful. And Stain says, I have the North Node in on my sun, or in my sun Aquarius sign. Stain, this is going to be such a distant portal that is going to come up. You have like a nodal return. The nodes is about like destiny, where we need to lean in towards. In Aquarius, that is about authenticity and being completely unapologetically ourselves. The South Node in Leo, the South Node is more about what we need to release. The sign of Leo, it rules over pride and recognition and validation, and it likes to be seen and it likes to be on stage. But the unhealthy energy of Leo, when it's unbalanced, then that can become a little bit arrogant from time to time, or they can become overly focused on external validation, or in like the worst case scenario of bad Leo energy, that can like become full on narcissistic behavior. So that is what we need to let go of, like pride and ego and wanting to dominate others. No, the North Node and the South Node and the lessons that are shifting here for the next 18 months are actually about being able to keep our own individuality within bigger groups of people. And we are allowed to shine, and we are going to want to shine all brighter with Jupiter and Leo. But with the South Node, we need to be careful not to outshine other people, and to make sure that we leave space or room for other people to be able to shine as well. So your sunshine needs to inspire other people to shine. You do not want to diminish their light with your own sunshine. That is like the biggest lesson for the next 18 months ahead. So look at how that's going for you in like group dynamics. Are you afraid to speak within a group? Are you afraid to show your unique traits within a group? Or are you like very dominant within a group, and are you always like talking and like over ruling everyone else? These dynamics need to be balanced. Everyone is going to need to be able to keep their own beautiful, unique individuality within group settings, and letting go of like the performative ego side in things. So, yeah, it's a beautiful North Node and a beautiful lesson that we're getting into, when Jupiter is going to expand all of that even more fully. So, um, We then have Saturn retrograde. And before I switch over to Saturn retrograde, be sure to check out the Beyond Mystic Academy around the 20th of July. That will be the day that the workshop for the Notes of Fate are going to be kicking off, are going to be able to join the workshop. So it's going to be a fun one to talk about the North and the South Node because it's so important just to know for yourself and to be able to help other people as well. So Saturn retrograde, Saturn, the karmic taskmaster. He's so strict, he's so tough. He's like, yeah, an authority figure that tells you where you can go, where the limit is, what is like the when you're about to hit a wall. It is a heavy one, Saturn. It's very karmic and it is very like, um, yeah, it puts a damper on things. Now, when Saturn goes retrograde, that energy is also getting more inwards, you guys. So this is like period again of review and reflection about our goals and our ambition. And Saturn in Aries, it wants to bring more structure within our own courage, and it wants to structurize our fire, and we need to become more independent and tap into our own self leadership. Stop projecting that on people outward. Stop projecting that on your boss, your father, the president. I do not know who else you can project it onto. No, this is about like claiming your birthright as an Aries. It's cardinal fire. It is the first spark that sets the house on fire. Now Saturn says, structurize that, become more mature. You're way more capable of doing things on your own than you actually give yourself credit for. That is now what we're going to reflect upon and how we have been tapping into that energy since the beginning of this year. So, a lot of people are going to reassess their goals. So it's less about like stopping. No, things are not going to come to a halt. No, it's more about a recalibration period within embodying our self leadership. Then on July the 27th, the sun is going to trine Neptune. So, Bink Molly, this is a beautiful comment. Thank you so much, Bink Molly. And like, this is also the Jupiter in Leo energy. Like, if you've watched the workshop, then you already know that if someone gives you a compliment, a lot of the times we tend to give a compliment back or tend to like, yeah, push it a little bit away or not being able to fully receive that. Jupiter in Leo is going to teach us that we need to be open to receiving the validation of other people without diminishing in that, without making it bigger than it has to be. But it's okay if someone like tells you something sweet, it is okay to receive that. So that is also why I want to bring up this comment so that everyone can tap into the Jupiter and Leo energy a bit more as well. It's all our time to shine together bright in the sunlight. The sun rules over Leo, of course. So, Sun trine Neptune. We are currently still, like today, on the 28th of June, still a little bit in the lingering Sun square Neptune. That is about blind spots. Now, luckily, by the end of the month, on the 27th, the Sun will trine Neptune, and that is going to be way better than the energy that we're currently dealing with, because all of these blind spots and all of these things catching up and all of the heaviness and the duty of the full moon in Capricorn, it can be a little bit much. Now, this is going to be way better for tapping into our imagination, and it can bring so much inspiration. Now, of course, the Sun, vitality, life force, and Neptune, that is about spirituality and intuition and our higher consciousness. So when they get along those two, then it becomes way more easier to connect with like something larger than ourselves. And it can be very beautiful, it can be very creative and uplifting, and we can feel held by the universe. It can be about divine intervention and like very beautiful synchronicities as well. Perfect energy if you're an artist, a musician, a healer, or do some kind of spiritual practice, or if you work within the healing or spiritual fields. So, then we also at the same time see a sun opposing Pluto. That is going to be the case for a lot of the time because all the planets line up. So that is why when the sun is in a particular sign, it tends to trigger all of the other planets at once. That is like how crazy the astrology is that we're in of 2026. So, Sun trine Neptune while Sun opposes Pluto. Sun opposes Pluto can give a little bit of power struggles. But I think the trine to Neptune, if you're being able to tap into your intuition and into your empathy, then it will be great. The Sun opposition Pluto is just going to show you where you may be giving your power away towards like people who are higher up than you. Maybe you can have a little bit of like a struggle with your boss or like with your father, or like the Sun can also be about leadership. We're going to see some very important, intense power struggles within leadership, definitely with Jupiter opposing this Pluto as well, you guys. So, and the Sun will be in Leo. So the Sun, did I forget to add in the start of Leo season? I did. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, this Mercury retrograde, I'm gonna have to really double check everything. Of course, on the 20th, Leo season kicks off. So happy birthday to all my fellow fire signs. I love you guys, dear Leos. Have a good one. Jupiter will be in your sign. Let your hair down. The summer of love. You're gonna have such an epic birthday. Um, of course, Pluto opposes your sun if you're within the first couple of degrees, and that can be a little bit more difficult. But it all depends on your natal chart. So I'm not gonna give like overall collective predictions. It's sometimes very hard, you guys, because every chart it is so unique. If you're going towards some struggles when you're a beginning Leo sign within the first couple of degrees, I can definitely help you with that. So then, like, this is gonna be so special, you guys. We've got one of the most special full moons, excuse me, of the entire year. In my opinion, this is going to be a full moon that is going to be equally as strong as like an eclipse, because it's conjunct Pluto. And look at the opposing sign of the wheel, the opposing side of the wheel. We see Jupiter conjunct Leo. All right, you guys. If this is full on darkness, then this is full on light. There is a battle between the light and the dark, you guys, and this is gonna be intense. So if you have been following my weeklies, every time when the moon cycle closes or passes by Neptune, each and every time I'm telling you guys, be careful. People become unhinged. People become like very intense, emotional power struggles, control freaks. It's like the control freaks within ourselves and within other people are getting like massively triggered each and every time. And now we are gonna see a full moon on top of Pluto, you guys. Of course, if we look back 6 months ago, what happened back then? My first eclipse workshop, because we had the very first solar eclipse within Aquarius. That one was at 28 degrees and more towards the end of the sign. Now, whatever got seeded here 6 months ago now comes to a head with the full moon conjunct Pluto. So the fact that an eclipse comes to a head, and of course, this is not going to be an eclipse, even though the like true north node will already be in Aquarius. It's still like not an eclipse because it's like too far off, but it's gonna carry the undertone of it, because it's like the culmination of an eclipse, you guys. And at the other side, like normally Sun conjunct Jupiter is the most lucky day of the year, because the Sun is of course sunshine, and then we have the planet of luck and blessings. But ooh la la, now it's like opposing Pluto and the full moon. You guys, this is gonna be blowing people's socks off. And of course, it's like right in the middle of also the incredible basket configuration that like happened on the 20th of July. So that is like only a couple, like it's like a week after that, you guys. It's like within the heat of the moment. So it's not only going to reflect the energy of the moon and the sun like we normally see, this is like activating an entire network of slow moving planets that are already shaping this world. Because the full moon will be sextiling Neptune, will be trining Uranus, and will be opposing Jupiter. So the whole basket configuration gets massively triggered here by this full moon. Oh my god, I wish I had like a crystal ball. I know I can predict a bit, and I know I can look at the cycles and the planetary energies, but I am so curious what this one is gonna bring, especially with the Jupiter opposing Pluto as well. This is gonna be big for the markets, you guys, and again, financial systems, and digging up a lot of dirt, because full moons are about exposure, about the one percenters, the dark arts people who are dominating society, and it's gonna trigger a lot of underlying issues within society. And we are like, do you know, like, whenever you like plug something within the wall and you get like an electric shock and your entire hair is like this, I think that is going to be a bit of the energy. And it's going to bring up a lot of fears. It's going to bring up a lot of hidden stuff. It's going to expose a lot of scandals, especially also in regards to celebrities, because Jupiter in Leo is also like amplifying all of the stuff that is connected to children. Leo rules over children. It's connected to influencers, celebrities, royals. Oh my god, this is gonna be, in my humble opinion, I think this is one is gonna be very big for like the UK royal family, and maybe even the Vatican and other stuff that can be revealed. This is gonna be quite a big one. Definitely with all the other stuff that is happening, you guys, this is like extreme. That is the word for Pluto. Extreme. It is like, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit crazy. At the same time, you guys, we see Jupiter Kazemi. So Jupiter gets reborn in the heart of the sun. So there is an immense fight between light and dark. So be sure to tap into the Leo energy. If you feel like people are attacking you or trying to dominate you or manipulate you, or if the news cycle is going too crazy for you, tap into the Leo energy. Your luck and your happiness and your light is being found within your creativity, within dancing, having fun, singing. Let the world burn while you focus on your individual self. That is where your happiness lies. And that might sound a little bit selfish or egotistical, but I do not agree, because we can only change the outward frequency, or like the outward, if we change our own frequencies by being happy, we create a ripple effect into the collective. And I think that that is going to be very necessary on this day, and the 2 weeks that are going to follow, you guys. It's going to be a pretty big deal, honestly. Opportunities are going to arise. Abundance can arise for certain people if you've made the right decisions. Now, Leo, you guys, it also rules over gold. Jupiter is going to amplify that. So I'm also just like quickly throwing that out there. A lot of astrologers say that this is really going to be the most luckiest day of the entire year. But with this one at the other side of the wheel, I am honestly not so sure. So I do not want to overhype the Jupiter Sun conjunction this year, because it's like meeting up with complete darkness at the opposite side. But of course, full moons are release portals. So some kind of darkness is getting exposed, but also released. But the collective, it's going to be upside down, you guys. And a lot of people are going to be dropping, like, truth bombs are about to drop. And there is going to be a lot of information that has been concealed, and that is gonna become like too difficult to hide. We can have a lot of exposure here, you guys. This is gonna be a day of disclosure for sure. Now, more on that later. I know this forecast might sound a little bit more dramatic than other years, but honestly, you guys, this is really like the month where everything can definitely finally start to really change. So the basket configuration as well, that is a once in a lifetime. We will never see this happening again. If you look back in recorded history, we do not find anything like this. Something big is coming, and something big is going to be illuminated here on this specific day and time. All right, let's start the readings for the 12 rising signs. And maybe I feel called to pull a card after all of the kind of intense astrology. Yeah, like Pluto, full moon conjunct Pluto, you guys. honestly, watch what happens during this full moon by the end of the month, because the full moon will be at 6 degrees, while Pluto is at 4 degrees. 6 degrees is a Virgo degree. So it's also about like systems, hidden systems that are operating within society and not also being exposed. But that is like one of the multiple things that can happen. But this full moon, like if we fast forward in time to January of 2028, by that time, Pluto will be at 6 degrees and we are going to see a solar eclipse. No, it was a lunar eclipse. No, it's solar eclipse. Oh my God, I need to double check it. It's going to be, yeah, no, it was 666. So it's a new moon solar eclipse. Now I remember correctly. A new moon solar eclipse conjunct Pluto, you guys, in January of 2028. So whatever happens right now is going to be like an omen or like a preview of what the eclipse in January of 2028 will bring, but in a much bigger way, even. So we are really at like a very important turning point here, you guys, within society, within like how the collective operates within like the invisible structures that hold everything together. A lot of systems are going to be breaking down. We're going to see some very big crashes within the markets as well, especially in October, November next year. During the first couple of months, we are now within a very big transition period, and Mars Uranus together here on the 4th of July, that is going to like bring up so much stuff from under the surface. And then at the end of the month, we see a full moon on top of Pluto, the most intense planet. Even though Pluto is retrograde, it's still gonna really ignite and trigger that Pluto archetype of like secrets or obsession, manipulation. I'm sorry, you guys, but Pluto, it rules over the shadow. It rules over all the dark stuff. It rules over all the people who abuse children within their underground tunnels. And like, honestly, a lot of people tend to make Pluto a lot better than he is. He is a malefic. He is a badass, even though he's like a dwarf planet and he's very small. He's very strong. And full moons that are going to conjunct that, it's going to bring up a lot of fears within the collective. It's going to bring up a lot of dormant patterns that you thought you dealt with within your own shadow self. And we're going to need to surrender to it. And we're going to need to really face the darkness and be able to tap into the other side of the wheel, into like the polarizing aspect of Jupiter and the Sun in Leo. And we're gonna need to focus on things that make our heart sing. And we do not let whatever happens within the collective or within society or whatever major news headline is gonna pop off during this month, and there's gonna be multiple ones this month. We need to trust and have faith that everything is getting exposed for a reason and that it's all going to be okay. It's just going to be an intense period in time. This is going to be a very big transition, honestly. So, yeah, Stain says, let's get the dark outside of ourselves so Pluto has nothing to rule over us. So, yeah. Darkness be gone. Beautiful mic dropped in the chat here, you guys. But I'm already warning you, July is gonna be fireworks. And then we go to August and then we see the solar eclipse in Leo with Jupiter amplifying all of the drama that the solar eclipse is gonna bring. Yeah, honestly, just like grab your popcorn, take a step back, do like detach. Full moon and like Aquarius conjunct Pluto can also be about like detaching yourself, because Aquarius, it is not so emotionally, or it is being able to emotionally detach itself more, because it's like about groups of people and the collective and like more AI and like it's more intellectual stuff. So there can be a necessary transformation that is going to push us towards detaching us from the madness in society and focusing on the luck and the happiness that we can bring towards ourselves. And when we do that, that is going to ripple out and that is going to transform the collective. So we all need to like tap into the higher manifestation of Jupiter and Leo. And I know you guys are all going to be able to do that. But be mindful, the people around you who have like zero awareness, oh my God, they are They're gonna walk around like a chicken without a head. Like that is like a saying here in Dutch. I do not know if you say it in English. I think my Dutch people are gonna have a smile, but yeah, like it's gonna get a little bit chaotic now. But it's good. Chaos, sometimes chaos and disruption is very necessary to trigger some things that need to be exposed, and we can only calm down our own nervous system. Aquarius and Uranus rule over our nervous system. Do some breath work, do some breathing therapy. Walking is gonna help you. Meet up with like-minded friends. Can definitely be another push towards getting closer towards the people that are really like-minded. That is also the sign of Aquarius. So yeah. All right, let's pull a card and start the 12 signs quickly. My God, that's so funny. The ripple effect, part of something bigger. The details are being taken care of. You guys, what have I been like babbling all of the time about the ripple effect? It's definitely a very big confirmation that within your own individual self, at home, with your kids, Leo rules over kids, your passions, your hobbies, the things that make your heart sing, tap into that and let your creative juices flow, and that is going to have such a beautiful ripple effect into all of the dark things that are getting exposed. It just like needs to be digged up, but that doesn't necessarily need to mean that you need to stop dancing. No, Jupiter in Leo is expanding all of that, so do not let the weight of the world take your happiness away. And it's also very important to expose certain patterns that are connected to your inner child. Jupiter in Leo is going to bring a lot of protection, happiness, and luck towards healing the inner child. So if you feel fearful, if you feel like you're getting stuck in a loop, go inward, look at what made you happy when you were a child, and re-implement those things. If you do that, you're going to set yourself up for like the next 12 years ahead of like way more happiness in your life. So, all right. With all of that being said, we're going to look at the 12 rising signs, and I'm going to be quite quick on them because I'm really starting to be very warm, honestly. And Katie says, "Be fire watching this video. Put on your crash helmet and strap yourself in." Yeah, but like we're gonna be fine. It's just gonna be a little bit of upheaval. And yes, Marybeth, it is a great card. Keep dancing, keep having fun with others. Find your like-minded friends. Just be weird with them. Be unique. Do not hold back. Let go of the filter. Tap into your authenticity and form those meaningful connections that really make your heart sing. Even though not everything is going to go according to plan, with Mars Uranus squaring the nodes of fate, that's going to be a big one, definitely the first week of July, but it's a very necessary transition and course correction. So, all right. Yeah, let's start the 12 signs. Where is it? Sorry, you guys. Here we go. All right. So, if you do not know your rising sign, you can go to astroseek.com. You can type in your birth information, plug in your details. You will get to know your rising sign. There is a lot of free Astro software online where you can just like plug that in and then you will get to know your rising sign. First, listen to your rising. You can also listen to your sun sign. And if you have something important happening within your moon sign, like a full or a new moon, then you can also listen for your moon sign. Yes, Ida, Louise, let's have some fun and ripple the positive frequencies. Yes, that's why we're here for. That is why we are born as these light warriors, to be able to really transform society. And we're going to succeed at that. I am very convinced and very confident in that. All right. Let's start with my fellow Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right. You're having a new moon in the sign of Cancer, conjunct Mercury retrograde in your fourth house. Now, of course, fourth house, that is all about home, family, roots, your emotional security, your living situations. Very important new moon because it plants like a new seed within your emotional landscape. So before you build a future, you need to strengthen the roots. So focus on family, focus on Also, misunderstandings from the past, how you can like heal that. There is a very big, beautiful opportunity to do that with this new moon. Clean out the house, do like a house cleaning, make space, open up, make more room. Mercury retrograde wants you to look back at the past and look at what you like can reorganize, restructure, revisit, to be able to have more space within your emotions. And what I love as a Virgo rising with my sun in Aries, I really, really like to clean while like listening to podcasts or like I love learning, and I have like day short and I have hours short in my day to really do everything. And I think also also cleaning is a waste of time if you do not learn anything while you're doing it. Or you can just like put on music or song, dance while you're like cleaning the entire house, but it's going to help you to process emotions and process thought patterns as well. So can be a good tip to really tap into that. And of course, can also be very good for like this is like a new chapter involving family, housing, property, moving, renovating, redecorating. But be careful with the Mercury retrograde. Not the best time to sign contracts that are connected to the home. And definitely some stuff from the past from your family is going to be brought up with this Mercury retrograde. The full moon will be in Aquarius in your 11th house. That is, of course, your house of friendships, of groups, communities, your social networks, your hopes, your dreams, your long term goals. This is actually so beautiful because it just like happens right after the North Node enters Aquarius. And here it is still like not the true North Node in the slides, just like ignore the slides. The North Node will be in Aquarius by this time. I just like forgot to switch something in my software. So also, of course, this full moon in your 11th house is going to bring up some stuff connected to friendships, you guys. You might encounter some very like intense situation with a friendship or within like a network, can even be a professional network, and something is going to be exposed. Secrets and truth bombs are going to be dropped within your social sphere. Maybe your friend is going to come over to you, bawling their eyes out, needing your advice because they are going through a very intense period in their lifetimes. It can also be like channeled through one of your friends that is going to need your help in some kind of way. Can be very intense full moon. Surrender to it. Yeah, the 11th house can also be about social media and like your online networks or communities as well. Some are going to fall away, others are going to be replaced. Can be a friendship that might end. That can be the case, and it's going to be a powerful transformation. So also, if you yeah, what else do I need to say? It's like a preview of your future, and it can be a very intense shift here for you, my dear Aries. So do not like let that scare you. Yeah, it's like you need to think beyond yourself and consider also how all of your unique talents can actually contribute towards something larger or towards society. So make sure that you do that. One of the best days for you, my dear Aries, will be the Sun conjunct Jupiter, of course, in Leo on that specific day, because, of course, this is trining your Sun, Moon, or Rising. So this is actually very important. And also the full moon in Aquarius will make a sextile towards you. It's also supportive energy, but it can bring up some like dormant, like power issues within your social sphere. Do not let them dominate you, but do also not dominate others, because my dear fellow Aries, we know you can be quite the alpha male or female. Be sure to also let other people shine, but of course with Jupiter in your fifth house trining you, there is a lot of fun. Like honestly, it can increase finding the chances of a like-minded community or like-minded friendships here, because Jupiter is in your fifth house trining you, expanding all of the beautiful things within creativity, love, romance. My dear Aries, this can definitely be the summer of love for you. So good luck, my dear Aries. Before I forget to say, my dear Aries, be careful around the 3rd and the 4th of July, because your chart ruler Mars will be conjunct Uranus, and that will be, let me just look, that will be in your 3rd house. Oh my God, be very careful on the road, you guys. Technical devices can also break down. Be careful about fights also. Mars entering your third house, you're gonna be quiet, feisty, and outspoken, and direct and blunt and honest. All the things that you already are. So be careful to take a breath when you feel frustrated before you burn the entire house down. We know you are very good at that. So do not go driving while angry. Really, do not do it. Otherwise, it's gonna get channeled through your car and you're gonna hit something or someone is gonna come up unexpectedly. So be careful about that. All right, Aries, good luck. Then we have Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, my dear Taurus, you're gonna have your new moon in Cancer, and it will be in your third house of communication. So the third house is very busy house, and you also have the Mercury retrograde there. Oh my God! Like Mercury is at home in the third house. So it's going to have a very strong implication for you, my dear Taurus. Back up everything before tomorrow if you still got time to do that. Technological devices can be a bit annoying, honestly. And then also, full moon there plants a new seed. And of course, communication is going to become extra sensitive. And all the past missed conversations, definitely connected to family or where you live, are gonna be coming up again. So yeah, honestly, look at how you communicate. Look at how you're using your voice, and also this new moon, it offers a fresh start, but it can also be a fresh start in starting to studying something new, going on a road trip. But if you go on a road trip, be careful with Mercury retrograde. It's not the best time to travel, especially not in the third house. If you do tend to go on a road trip or want to travel, go to a place you've already been before. That is going to help you to lessen the more negative manifestations of Mercury retrograde. Um, Good for launching a website or like for do the launch when the Mercury retrograde is over, but it's good for like working on a website or writing something or exploring like new methods of communication, and that can then definitely help you to kick something off by the end of July. On the 23rd, the Mercury retrograde will be over. Yeah, so this is also going to affect your siblings, your neighbors, people that you interact with in your local environment, and know that your voice matters and maybe you need to use it a little bit more. Mars Uranus in your second house, careful for unexpected expenses, can also be a breakthrough within your stream of income. Then we see the full moon conjunct Pluto in your 10th house. Some of my Tauruses are gonna be like, my boss, it is over and done with. I'm gonna quit right now. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm not having it anymore. I'm just like fully gonna like throw in the towel into the ring because there are too many like manipulations or power games present within my sphere at work, and I need to change something within that. Now, can also be about promotion, recognition, being put in a high position of authority within your career. You can like really get a promotion with the trine to Uranus in your second house. There can be like something big within your income happening. Definitely a shift here within your income with Mars Uranus together. Then we also the moon in the 10th house can also bring like a lot of visibility towards you. Something that you say, something that you do might affect the public way stronger. And of course, yeah, it is like also affecting your reputation, but also your long-term achievements, and something might be completed within that. So that is actually very beautiful, transformative energy. But you are going to go through a very intense change in regards to your boss, maybe an employer, maybe clients, maybe professional partnerships. All of that is going to come up. So depends on your own natal chart how well that is going to go for you, of course, because with Pluto it can be like a lot of intensity here. So of course, the most challenging day of the month will be Mars conjunct Uranus on July 4th. A positive day for you can be, oh, of course, like Venus is gonna enter Virgo and it will trine your Sun, Moon, or Rising until August 6th. So, yeah, a lot of fun and happiness. Venus in the fifth is actually positive for you. So, that is actually going to support you throughout this entire period. Having fun, going out with friends, having more love coming onto your path. So good luck, Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, Gemini, you're gonna have the new moon in Cancer within your second house of income. So, this is important because it's planting new seeds that are connected to your streams of income, maybe side hustles. Mercury retrograde is looking at like all the old receipts. Do you have like money leaks? Are there certain subscriptions that you need to cancel out or that you maybe need to revisit, revise right now? Would be very smart to do that because the new moon is planting new seeds within your house of money and income, but also the house of self-worth. So, do you ask enough? Like, do you earn enough? Are your prices high enough? Do you need to review something within that? Maybe you're going to have an unexpected expense. That can be the case with Mercury retrograde. If you do tend to buy something, keep the receipts. Mercury retrograde, sometimes something is broken and you need to return it. Definitely, if you buy something for inside of the home, definitely technological devices for inside of the home, be very careful. Because Mars Uranus in the first week of July will be on top of one another in your sign, my dear Gemini. This is like crazy because this is the energy of breaking free. And if you're not going to be able to break free, then something is going to break inside of the home. That is definitely possible. So be a little bit more careful with that. It's very erratic, lightning strike, bold kind of energy. So if someone has been restricting you, then you're going to revolt and protest against that quite massively. Be careful not to create too much chaos if it's not necessary, but definitely you're going to be the agent of change in the month of July. So make sure to set a good example for the others, if you know what I mean. So then the full moon here for you, my dear Gemini, will be in Aquarius in your ninth house of travel. This is important because a travel could lead towards like a very intense shift within your belief system. And ninth house is about also religion, can be about like your mindset, also what you believe is possible. Something is getting illuminated and changed within that. So be very very open-minded and be open to like new possibilities, and like you can apply for a new course or like university and higher education or higher wisdom all belongs into the ninth house. It is a very philosophical house as well. So you can definitely tap into that energy. And if you can travel, be careful with the Mercury retrograde. It's still like past shadow phase, but still it's okay. A lot of you are going to return from a travel and you're going to be really, that is going to transform your beliefs or how you look at the world and the future as well. So of course, the full moon here, it wants you to like think bigger than what you have been thinking. And sorry you guys, but I'm gonna have to open my window. Hopefully my other neighbor is not gonna start to mow the lawn, but I'm getting too hot, so I'm just gonna open it up and I hope that they're not gonna all collectively start mowing the lawn. Like honestly, sometimes I feel like they are having like a secret meeting behind closed doors where they all agree upon like having like a switch within role. When one is done, the other one starts. That is like, yeah, I have Pluto in my third house, and they tend to test my patience from time to time. All right. So, what else, my dear Gemini? A good day for you is, of course, Jupiter also sextile Uranus, and that will be like, of course, around the 20th of July. Uranus is in your sign. You're gonna have like major blessings coming through within your local environment or from the local people that actually know you. So that is actually very beautiful. Short distance travel also very beautiful for you this month. Good luck, Gemini. We have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, my dear Cancer. Very important month for you because, of course, you are going to have like a new moon within your sign on July 14th, accompanied by Mercury retrograde in your sign as well. So you are one of the signs That is like in the direct line of fire for all of the communication issues, misunderstandings, reflecting back on the past, your mother wound, your ancestral lineage, patterns that are getting brought back up again. And it's like a very big rewiring of your identity. So, new moon planting new seeds in how people see you and how you come across, and your goals, your life. It can be like affecting every direction in your chart because it's going to affect your seventh house, your 10th house, your fourth house. All of the angular houses get a hit. So the entire stability of your chart gets like rewired in some kind of way here for you. So actually very important for you, can be very emotional, and it's definitely going to bring up a lot of stuff from the past with the Mercury retrograde in your sign, you guys. So let it come. Look at these buried emotions. Look at how you can rewire that. Look at the people that you've been to from the past, because they can carry some like hidden gems with them, and like guiding you on your next step or on the next journey. And definitely reunions with family are very important for you, my dear Cancer. So just like feel your feelings. It is rewiring your identity, your appearance, your health, your personal direction. Be a little bit more careful with the stomach if you feel like you're not like too well or too emotional. All the organs that are about nurturing can feel a little bit more triggered during this time as well. But yeah, you're still figuring things out, you guys, and that's okay. You do not need all the answers just yet. You need to wait until the 23rd of July, and then things are going to become more obvious. Mars and Uranus are going to conjunct in your 12th house, and it's going to bring up a lot of stuff from the subconscious. Your subconscious is going to be very, very loud. So, 12th house, of course, is also hospitals or places of healing. Can be a very big breakthrough with Mars Uranus together, but it can also be about like unexpectedly hurting yourself and ending up in the hospital. The 12th house is the house of isolation. This aspect can create accidents, so be a bit more careful, you guys. Otherwise, 12th house is also mental health. Mars Uranus can create a lot of electricity and friction within like dormant patterns within like the subconscious. And Mars, whenever it enters into the 12th house, which it actually does since today, then you can have more frequent nightmares, or you can have more like uneasy feelings when you want to rest, or sleep can feel very active. It's like you're doing so much stuff while you are sleeping. If you have a bit more of nightmares, that is normal with Mars through the 12th house. Be careful about mental exhaustion. Do not over exhaust yourself. Thank you so much, Hilgersum, who watching this has not hit the like, but thank you so much for mentioning that. Yes, Stain, I know. When I was reading the chart, I was like also thinking about you because I know what you're gonna have to do next week, and it's like all perfectly aligned. That is also why I told you, like, yeah, you're on the right path, and you're like perfectly aligned with the energy. It is very striking, Stain. You're very intuitive. So yeah, do not be afraid. Sometimes Mars Uranus in the 12th house can bring up like things from within that are a little bit more difficult to confront or to face. But if you're being able to do that, that can create such a beautiful big breakthroughs, and you can actually release yourself from certain things that keep you stuck. It's about breaking free from self-sabotaging behavior as well in the 12th house. And Mars, it can cut and sever ties, and it can really like end certain patterns, and you're going to be relieved of something big, you guys. So let the Mercury retrograde just do its thing. Your whole identity and subconscious are getting like massively rewired here for you this month. So be open to change. Jupiter enters your second house of finances. Whoop whoop. This is such a positive news because Jupiter amplifies your finances, but first it needs to pass through the opposition with Pluto. But the next year ahead, you're going to see an increase in your finances as well. So July the 29th, full moon conjunct Pluto in the 8th house. Now that is where things get a little bit more deep and tough, because the 8th house is like the deepest parts of ourselves. It also rules over shared finances, debts, taxes, investments, intimacy, inheritances, transformation, and psychological, emotional, and also sexual entanglements with other people. And sometimes, and especially now with the full moon conjunct Pluto, get rid of the energetic like vampires in your life. Everyone who steals your energy, that needs to go. Maybe you're also gonna be like fearful about opening up, and maybe with the Mars Uranus conjunction in the 12th, you are being able to break through that pattern. And then the full moon Aquarius is going to give you like the ability to release that. So it's actually very helpful, but it's going to get intense. It's going to stir some fears, and it's going to bring up some very, like, it's going to confront you with the walls around your heart as well. If it's not that, it's going to be very financial. You can have like a very big return on investment. Jupiter Sun in your second house, full moon conjunct Pluto in the eighth. Very good to look at your finances and how you can like change something within that. There can be opportunities that are going to emerge that are going to be connected to finances. So do not be afraid to go deep with this full moon, as it's going to lead you maybe towards like the depths and the dark parts of your soul, but it's there to help you. So do not back down. I know you can do it, my dear Cancer. Good luck. We have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. My dear Leo, your year is about to like kick off, because Jupiter is about to enter Leo within a couple of days here, so within your sign. And on the 20th of July, Jupiter in Leo is going to make like an aspect toward all the outer planets. Oh my god, you guys are going to have to let me know what is happening for you guys, because that is going to be a pretty big deal. And I'm very happy, because I know the last few years have been tough for you. Well, things are about to change, but first we need to go through the Pluto Jupiter opposition. So a new moon within your 12th house. Now that is important, because for other people it can become more like outwardly visible, but for you it's more inwards. Yeah, it's like way more intuitive here, while for other signs it's going to be more noticeable within the physical realm outside themselves. For you it's inwards, because it's in the 12th house. The 12th is definitely the house that it just like rules over everything that is like very spiritual, but it's also about blind spots, and it's also about the parts that we do not really see about ourselves. So yeah, before the spotlight fully returns, you need to like go fully inward here. And this is like a lunation that is trying to like, it's like the final stage of like the cocoon before the butterfly emerges, because you're gonna go towards your glow up phase with Jupiter in your sign. But first you need to let go of emotional baggage, old fears, limiting beliefs, maybe relationships. Maybe you want to spend a bit more time alone. Maybe you want to withdrawal. Maybe that's very positive to be able to recharge, but be careful that doesn't end up in like escapism or like full on isolation. The 12th house is also where our self sabotaging patterns lie. So something within that is being like restructured with the Mercury retrograde. And sometimes Mercury retrograde in the 12th, he can lose documents or emails or phone calls. It's like they can disappear in thin air in the 12th house. And then when the Mercury retrograde is over, they magically reappear again. So can be like strange, magical, special energy, and you can have a lot of synchronicities, especially around the 12th, the 12th of July. Watch for synchronicities, watch for divine intervention. That is what the 12th house is all about. But if you struggle with certain substance abuses or other patterns that are actually keeping you small, or like blocking or like sabotaging yourself, then you can also get rid of that. And the Mercury retrograde is perfect for that. It's going to connect you towards like the patterns of upbringing from when you were a child, and it's going to show you how that's still like sabotaging your daily present, and you can get rid of them. So beautiful energy for healing, you guys. Chainsaw says nothing like awesome Astrid to rally July 2026 with Jedi powers. Thanks for coming in today. It makes for a kick-ass Sunday. Much love from San Diego. Thank you so much, Chainsaw Werikson. Sorry if I butcher your name, but thank you for mentioning that. Um, yeah, Laura, that's beautiful if you go inward lately. I know, hard to believe. Yeah, I know, Laura, with all your fire, you're like triple fire. I love it. Oh my God. Then it's, yeah, more difficult to go inward, but this one is definitely going to help you. And if you really succeed into like looking at your own shadow side also, normally it's more connected to the 8th, but the 12th house is also very mystical. If you're being able to surrender to your own blind spots and to listen to the guides and your ancestors and like the spirit, or like spirit or your angels, then they're gonna have a lot of stuff to say with the Mercury retrograde in the 12th house, and it's definitely gonna set you up for the big, beautiful, bountiful blessings of Jupiter in your sign. Oh, I was not wanting to get this comment on stage, but thank you, Mary Beth, for agreeing with that. All right. So, what else? Look at your dreams. You can have very important messages through dreams here. That is going to be also something to really write down. And it's definitely also about reviewing past dreams. And if it's still worthy, or if you're still like wanting to put energy into that. And I think with Jupiter in your sign now, you're going to let go of a lot of old dreams, and you're going to start to like expand new ones, new goals, new road ahead, new expansion within your identity, within how other people see you. This is like so beautiful. So enjoy that. And if you're a Leo, and if you haven't watched my Jupiter in Leo workshop, then what are you doing? Because there is so much information for you that is going to be so valuable to be able to work with the current energy of the year ahead. This only happens once in every this only happens once every 12 years, so make good use of that, my dear Leo. Then the full moon will be conjunct Pluto in your opposing sign of Aquarius. Very, very important, you guys, because the full moon is going to reveal a lot of truth within your relationships. Seventh house is about partnerships, can also be about business, clients, contracts, one on one connections. And it is like, yeah, the biggest full moon that you're gonna like experience in the year, honestly, because it directly opposes you. It is a very big like reveal. This is like gonna be the reveal of the year for you, definitely with Jupiter opposing Pluto, you guys. You can get to know certain secrets within relationships, an important conversation, a realization that is going to become impossible to ignore. It could involve a romantic relationship or in marriage. Some of you are gonna separate and divorce under this energy, although I do not wish that upon you, or I do not want to manifest that for you. But whatever has been like hidden beneath the surface is now gonna come to light, and it's gonna be like bang in your face, man, because it's opposing you. So uh, Pluto, of course, does not want like surface level conversation. It wants raw honesty, truth, transformation, authenticity. So if the relationship is healthy, yes, it's gonna deepen. But if you have been struggling, then now all the underlying issues are gonna become way bigger, way more intense, and impossible to ignore. So do not avoid it. It's not about like creating drama. It's about being able to face the truth. So yeah, of course, Sun conjunct Jupiter in your sign, whatever comes up, it is like necessary for like a very important reboot within your identity. So I'm really wondering how this will be for you. Oh, also Leo, Mars Uranus will be conjuncting in your 11th house of friendships and also communities. So also keep that in mind. All right. Good luck, Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. My dear Virgo, how are you feeling? Mercury, your chart ruler, is about to go retrograde tomorrow. Yay! Let's make some extra time for fun, because we might get a little bit frustrated, my dear fellow Virgo rising. Yeah, it's just like things change, plans change, schedules change, but here it's especially connected towards your 11th house of friendships, social sphere, communities. You can have a lot of like meetings with people from back in the day, and they're going to be a source of joy, and it's important to reconnect with them. I did the same thing yesterday evening, and I had such a blast. I had such a good time. I had so much fun. And I was like, okay, I've been working so much with this Mercury retrograde in the 11th house. I am going to put way more focus on like nurturing my beautiful connections that I actually have been neglecting a little bit. And I know that is not good. And I think a lot of fellow Virgo risings are going to come to the same conclusion that it's important to like wrap up some business from friends from the past, and can actually be a very big source of joy and fun. So if you get invitations towards like gatherings and all of that, that is beautiful. The new moon here in Cancer in your 11th is planting an entire new seed within your friendship realm or within your community realm. And there can be a lot of new possibilities or new doors opening up within that social realm. So say yes, stop overanalyzing, stop like filling out your spreadsheet, stop like checking your to-do list. No, go have some fun. Jupiter is entering into your 12th house, which is going to really strengthen your connection to the divine, which is also very beautiful. Your intuition is about to explode, synchronicities as well. So Venus will be in your sign. You will be way more attractive. Now, of course, let's be honest. I know you guys, we need to be honest because you know it anyway. And Venus is in fall in Virgo. She does not like to be there. She's way too critical. She's gonna pass over the south node that is about to leave your sign. Luckily, finally, oh my god. Yes, stay, sis. I'm sure you're talking to yourself now, Astrid. Yeah, well, sometimes I need to do my very best not to project my own stuff into these charts. But like it's almost impossible. I know what the best part is. I can use astrology and this beautiful tool for everyone around me, but it's so difficult to use it for myself. It's like my own chart is one big blind spot. It is like sometimes driving me absolutely crazy. And you guys can know it. Sometimes I cannot use my own skills for myself because it's like I do not trust myself fully enough. My sun rules over the 12th house of self sabotaging behavior. Great. So yeah, it's funny to like see all of my predictions time and a time come true or come out with everyone around me, and if I make one for myself, I do not have like the ability to believe within that for myself. It is something very strange, but I know a lot of tarot card readers can also like not pull cards for themselves. Like, isn't that like a very big curse? Sometimes I'm thinking like, oh wow. Okay, so new moon in the 11th house is definitely like wanting to bring in a lot of goodies within your social sphere. So reconnect with friendships and really focus on your future goals. And the 11th house is also the house where we see the payout or like the fruits of our labor that we have been putting into the 10th house. And look, in the 10th house, you guys, Mars Uranus are conjunct within the 10th. Big breakthroughs within your career, maybe a fight with your boss, maybe a fight with your parent, probably your father. Be careful about authority figures, police, the government, all of these boys or guys. Do not be too forceful against them, or it could create irradical, unpredictable energy within the tent. Definitely big changes within your vocation. If you're self-employed, bam, this is like a very feisty energy here, you guys. With Venus in your sign, increased magnetism, increased like magnetism, not only to attract other people, but also to attract finances. So very beautiful combination here, although Mars will square Venus, so be careful for some friction. But thank you so much, White Solar World Bridger. That is also so beautiful, a white solar world bridger. I almost do not dare to say it because it sounds a little bit cocky sometimes, but I'm like a white. I'm a white wizard. I'm a cosmic white wizard. So there you have it. Maybe that is why you are receiving it in that way. So thank you for mentioning that. All right. The next slide is the full moon here for you guys on July the 29th. That will be in your sixth house. Now, Virgo. Also, the sixth house is a traditional Virgo house. And you're very aware and familiar with that energy, but it's a house of productivity, analyzing daily service, your work, getting your ducks in a row, being structurized, organized, analyzing. It's gonna get a little bit intense in this house, and you need to let go of certain means of stress. This is like an intense release of stress that weighs too heavily on your nervous system. Take extra care of your health, especially your nervous system. As a fellow Virgo rising, it is very important to cleanse all of the EMFs, like electro frequencies and all of that. Protect yourself from that. Be careful to not spend all day on your computer or your phone, because it has a bigger effect on your health and well-being than for other signs, because the sixth house cusp runs in Aquarius. So there can also be something important at work, like finishing a deadline. Maybe a coworker leaves, and that is a very big transformation at your job. The moon is always a portal of letting go, but it's conjunct Pluto. It is very, very intense. If you have been struggling with some health concerns, you can now release it. By what? By tapping into alternative medicine. Aquarius is about looking at it from outside of the box. Holistic medicine, like a Healy or a spooky frequency therapy. All of that is going to help you massively if you struggle on a health level. Now, if you're self-employed with Mars Uranus there in the 10th, then now maybe you can have something coming up with an employee. That can also happen here. Watch your pets. Oh my God, I like cannot think about it, but Pluto is the planet of transformation, and it can bring some like sudden shocks and surprises with the fact that it trines Uranus and Mars. Even though it's a trine, the energy is still present. And that is all. I forgot to mention that during the basket configuration, but it's not because all of the it's not because all of the outer planets are in harmonious signs, in harmonious aspects, that everything is going to be like butterflies and rainbows and unicorns. No, malefics are lining up with each other as well. And I'm going to do a whole other video about the basket where I will talk more about that in a deeper way. But still, it's not because, like, yeah, like, honestly, I think it was during the 1940s, or was it before that, we had very like new alliances being formed by like outer planets being in an harmonious aspect towards one another, but it was like two bad boys or two bad institutions or two bad sides like gathering strength together. So that is also how the energy can be manifested here sometimes. And that is sometimes I noticed that a lot of astrologers do not like think about that. It's not because it's a blue line and everything is going to be fine. No, this is like Mars, Uranus, and Pluto. Wow, this is like bam energy. So keep that in mind, Virgo. Definitely also because your chart ruler Mercury is going retrograde for this month. So manage your stress levels. Sixth house is also the house of health and well-being, so and also work. If you want to apply for a new job, you can, but I think this energy is more about quitting something that you do not like. Look at your habits and how that creates your reality. Let go of being too overproductive as well. Good luck, Virgo. We have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, my dear Libra, you're going to have the new moon in Cancer in your 10th house. So, of course, the 10th house, it is very important for your work, your work, your vocation, your reputation also. And definitely also like your boss, your someone who is in an authority position above you, your father, the government, but it can also be affecting your own leadership position. So definitely you are also yeah, Venus is also making beautiful things first and later in the month. Let me just double check first. Yeah, Venus, your chart ruler, is ending up in the 12th house. So it's like the beautiful implications of Venus are going a little bit into hiding for you in the next month ahead. It can be more about private things, private love, or the secret love affairs or secret feelings that are like affecting the subconscious here. Your chart ruler, it is always like important to keep that in mind. So if you then look at the Mercury retrograde and the new moon within your 10th house, that is career, reputation, public life. Be careful about what you say, because with the Mercury retrograde in the 10th, something that you might say publicly might need to be reviewed or re-looked at in some kind of way. So it's important for you to be mindful about how you're also talking to your boss and your father, because there could be a lot of misunderstandings happening here. Also, it's long-term achievements, and you might launch something or work on like a project behind the scenes where you can make money off of Venus in the 12th. And then when the Mercury retrograde is over, you can launch something here. Launch like a very important announcement. And the new moon is definitely planting a seed within the tent that is like wanting to blossom over the next 6 months ahead. And it wants to like promote you in some kind of way. Very important energy here in regards to your career. Mars and Uranus in the ninth. If you're traveling, especially long distance travel, be very careful about like unpredictable erratic energy being projected into that house. Now, the full moon will be in your fifth house. Now, luckily, my dear Libra, it is going to trine your sun, moon, or rising. So that in itself is actually very positive. It is in a fellow air sign, so it's creating harmony towards you, even though it's a bit more of an intense full moon here. But it's definitely bringing up secrets in regards to children. If you have kids or grandkids, then they might tell you a secret, or they might expose their deepest feelings. Maybe it's going to expose your deepest feelings. Also connected to love, romance, and definitely also about like releasing something and transforming something that is blocking the inner child from being able to fully like have fun and let their hair down. So look at your creativity. What makes your heart come alive? And you need to stop living for approval of other people and start living for fulfillment. And that is going to be a very important transformation here, you guys. Jupiter enters the 11th, a lot of expansion through friendships. Go out and about. If you receive an invitation, go out. Your biggest, beautiful blessings are going to be found within your friend groups for the next year ahead. And then next month, Venus will be in your sign, my dear Libra, and you're going to have a solar eclipse in the 11th, which is also going to really accelerate a lot of stuff going on with friend groups and showing yourself within that. So that is beautiful. Good luck, Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. My dear Scorpio, you are going to have the new moon in Cancer within your ninth house. So ninth house is about belief system, and something is getting rewired here for you, my dear Scorpio. And of course, your chart ruler, before we dive deeper into the full new moon and I forget it, your chart ruler is, of course, Pluto, but also Mars. Look, Mars, your chart ruler, is going to conjunct Uranus in your eighth house of intensity. That can bring up a lot of secrets because this is an aspect of exposure in the house of secrets. Wow, this is really like gonna shake up the depths of the soul. Look at all the energetic entanglements you have with other people. Definitely also connected to finances. Be careful of like losing money while making investments as well. There can also be a breakthrough within current investments. That is also a possibility. So it depends on your own natal chart. The new moon in the ninth wants you to think bigger, because of course, like the fourth house is home, family, roots, your emotional security, and I think, yeah, it's like the Pluto retrograde that I'm like now touching upon because I was like looking at your other chart ruler, the fourth house. The fact also that you're both your chart rulers, Mars and Pluto, are going to make a trine. It's going to be so intense, so deep, and such a big, beautiful rewiring. And I think with coming into terms with your own emotionals and your own emotions and the depths of your soul, you're going to be able to like rewire something within your belief system. And that's going to be very positive for you here, my dear Scorpio. So new seed and Mercury retrograde being planted within the ninth house of beliefs. It's also the house of like publishing, marketing, traveling, legal stuff sometimes as well. If you are being intertwined within a court case, wait until signing important contracts until after the 23rd of July. That's going to be important. If you then look at the full moon, my dear Scorpio, then that will be an Aquarius in your fourth house, conjunct your chart ruler Pluto. Wow. Honestly, this is going to be a big one for you. I think it's arguably one of the most important full moons of your entire year. Something big is reaching a culmination at home, within the family. Might be an important decision that is being made. Maybe you're going to move, maybe like relocation, renovation, all of that is like really coming to a head. But the most important question here for you, Scorpio, is definitely, where do I feel like I truly belong? And there might be some deep old hurt being re-triggered here. This is not surface level energy. This is about deep truths, old patterns, and finally breaking through these ancestral curses. But it's gonna come with like some deep buried pain, you guys. Maybe you need to change something within family dynamics, and you're gonna need to draw upon the strength to do that. So, my dear Scorpio, I wish you a lot of good luck, because this one is going to be major for you. It, of course, also like squares your sun, moon, or rising. So it is difficult for you. This one, it's going to bring up a lot of emotions. And if you feel like you need to cry, just let it out. Be careful not getting out the stinger, because your emotions are going to be on fire, and everyone around you is definitely going to notice that. So good luck, Scorpio. You have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Your new moon in Cancer falls into the eighth house. Mercury retrograde accompanies it. So the eighth house, like honestly, the eighth house is very deep. And if I then look at your seventh house, we see a Mars Uranus conjunction happening within the first week of July within your house of partnerships. That is going to bring up some frustration, and there's like an explosive energy that happens within the seventh house. Now, if there's not really happening something with you or with the relationship, there can be something that happens within your partner's life. They need to be a little bit more mindful as well. This is going to break through stagnation, but sometimes, yeah, you need to be a bit more careful. Definitely with Mars ruling over your fifth house, there could be like some kind of conflict that involves children here, and that is also a possibility. And it can be about money, and definitely shared money with the new moon and Mercury retrograde in the eighth. Do not sign any papers that are connected to investments, and know that new moons in the eighth are always about like dropping down your walls, being vulnerable, focusing on intimacy. And then the positive thing here for you, my dear Sag, is that Jupiter will then have entered the sign of Leo in your ninth house, the most philosophical house of the entire chart. It is the traditional Sag house. So your ruler, Jupiter, is within the ninth house, in its own house, trining your sun, moon, or rising. Oh my God, you guys need to go on a trip, or you need to read a philosophical book, or dive into philosophical teachings, unlearn all the religious kind of conditioning. And definitely Jupiter in the ninth house is like a very big lucky charm. It's gonna like intervene when things might seem to go south. Then Jupiter is gonna like intervene, and the right people will save you at the very last, like right kind of time. So go travel, expand your horizon. It's gonna help you. If you then look at the full moon, then the full moon will happen in your third house, my dear Sagittarius. And the third house is the house of communication, learning, writing, speaking, contracts, siblings, neighbors, your local environment. And that is very significant, because the fact that it's conjunct Pluto, something like an important conversation is going to reveal something. You can get an important message, you can launch some podcasts, maybe you want to write or publish something. Yeah, like Jupiter in the ninth house, that is also very positive for marketing and publishing and studying and university and higher wisdom and all of that. But some of you are gonna want to like speak publicly here as well, and you can have like a very persuasive undertone with how you like say certain stuff. Your words are carrying tremendous power, my dear Sage. Make sure you use them wisely. Otherwise, you could end up in like a conflict with a sibling, with a neighbor, with someone from in your like local environment, like someone you know, not really a friend, but someone who lives closely around, like within your neighborhood. Third house can also be about on the road. Be careful on the road. Pluto is going to transform some stuff. Let's hope he does not transform something through an accident. So just be a bit more aware about that. Venus through the 10th, good for like gaining more income through your self-employment. All right, dear Sag. And of course, oh my God, I'm almost forgetting it. Most lucky day of the year is normally always when the Sun conjuncts Jupiter. Now, that will happen on the 29th of July here. Jupiter is your chart ruler. He belongs to you. So the Sun illuminating that in the ninth house. Wow, you're going to have some insights that are going to be very, very important. Intuitive downloads that can really show you the next steps ahead. So have some fun, but also make time for meditation during this day. Good luck, my dear Sag. We have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, my dear Capricorn, you're going to have the new moon in Cancer. And of course, that's very important for you, my dear Capricorn, because it's in your opposing sign and the seventh house. So, that deals with partnerships, business partnerships, can also be about like signing contracts. And with the Mercury retrograde in the seventh, you need to be a bit extra mindful about like your appointments with your clients or what you say to them. This could bring up old stuff from back in the day that you maybe advised them before, because I know a lot of Capricorns are like some kind of advisor because you're like an authority position, and a lot of people tend to come up to you for like grounded, stable help. Now, the fact that the new moon plants a seed in the seventh house, that means that there's like an entire new cycle being kicked off in regards to marriage or partnerships. Mercury retrograde could even bring back a business partnership from the past or even a partner from the past. You're definitely one of the signs that is going to get a phone call from their ex. That is definitely like in the cards for you. So do not go back to your ex. It's an ex for a reason. Focus on planting a new seed and a new cycle that is being kicked off. Seventh house is also like yeah, former partners are gonna reappear, or like old clients might return, or like all the old conversations that never got fully resolved are gonna like be triggered in some kind of way. So the goal is not always necessarily like reconciliation. The goal here is understanding. Watch what happens around July 12th, and also watch what your partner tells you or what happens within the life of your partner. Can be a very big breakthrough. Mercury is going to go direct on the 23rd of July, and then you can have more clarity within your partnerships. Mars Uranus will happen for you in the sixth house. Careful of like overburdening the nervous system. It can also be a very big breakthrough within your work. So, and if you need to get a new job, then you can like finally have a feeling of like, okay, I need to get up and take some action. Also, be careful with like inflammation in regards to your health. Mars in the sixth house can give like burnout issues as well. So keep that in mind. And if we then, of course, look at the full moon, that will be conjunct Pluto, and that is going to be quite important for you, my dear Capricorn, because the full moon will be in your second house, and your second house rules over finances. And I know, Capricorn, that you like stability, you like to have your ducks in a row. There can be an important transformation happening within your money. Some of you Capricorns are gonna have a very big bill that is gonna like transform your finances in a negative way. Others are gonna have a very big breakthrough within old investments that they already made with Sun conjunct Jupiter in your eighth house of investments, and then that can be a very big breakthrough and a very big transformation for the better. Depends on your own natal chart, depends on your past actions as well. By that time, Mercury will be back direct in your seventh house, better communication with the partner as well. So the second house can also reveal some leaking expenses, and maybe you need to transform something within that as well. And maybe it's connected to what your partner is doing with money, with the sun, Jupiter in an eighth house illuminating that. Do not be mad at them if they like have done something wrong or something like that. Maybe something needs to be changed. All right. um yeah, I was just reading the comments a little bit, but second house is also about self-worth. So yeah, there can be like a new stream of income that like boosts your self-esteem or your confidence in some kind of way. So be careful not to also attach your self-esteem too much on the numbers on your bank account that come in. All right, good luck, my dear Capricorn. We have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, my dear Aquarius, the North Node is going to enter your sign on July the 26th. That is going to start off like a new 18 to 19 karmic month that only happens once every 18 years. This is amazing. At the same time, Pluto is transforming your identity. Jupiter is expanding your relationship sector from now on. Mars and Uranus are electrifying your creativity and your love life in the fifth house. And the full moon in Aquarius will be for you at the end of the month, putting like a spotlight on your intense restructuring identity process. Oh my god, this is gonna be like one hell of a month for you, my dear Aquarius. Mars, the planet of action, will be conjunct your chart ruler Uranus in your fifth house. Sparks are flying within the house of fun. Enjoy it. Jupiter enters your seventh. Oh my god, all the luck, generosity, happiness gets projected within your house of partnerships. If you're within a relationship that's kind of, how do you say it, restrict you, then you can set yourself free from that. Sometimes Jupiter also tends to work in that way. Then, Stain says, this all combined with the Cancer and Libra stuff, I do not know where to hide. Yeah, I know, Stain. Yesterday evening, my friends and I were also talking about when I was reading all of their charts that they were like hiding under the table and they were like, oh my God, she's seeing through all of us. And it was actually a very fun, funny moment. So yeah, it is cool because it just like works. And once you are being able to look at it all and intertwine each and everything, then you just know you're on the right path. So yes, exactly, Chainsaw. Hell yeah, 18 years in the making. Bring it on. Yes, and also look back at what happened 18 years ago. Similar themes are gonna get re-triggered here, you guys. So really watch what happens. This is gonna be such a big karmic destined time period for you guys. So the new moon will be in the sixth for you. New way, like looking back at jobs you've worked before. Look at, be very careful of making mistakes in the job right now or at your job, because Mercury retrograde, if you need to like fill out documents, then you might need to double check emails, phone calls. Maybe you need to bring your car or put your car into service. Mercury rules over the car, sixth house is service or like maintenance or like what you need to do to keep things going. It's like what happens on a daily basis. New moon in the sixth house, planting a new seed. If you want to apply for a new job, you can do that, but it's going to work better with like a job or a field that you have already worked before with the Mercury retrograde. Then if we look at the full moon for you guys, then oh my god, this is like, I want to like because this is going to be so wild for you, my dear Aquarius. The fact that you're going to have like a full moon on top of Pluto while the North Node is in your sign. July the 29th is the most important full moon of the entire year for you, and it's happening in your first house. A complete rewiring, restructuring of your identity, your body, your appearance, your personal direction. only like days after the North Node enters your sign. This is like a very big new cosmic chapter that you're stepping in towards. And you also just got off of like today you have the full moon in Capricorn in your 12th house. So now it's about isolation, withdrawal, like healing certain stuff before like the full moon happens in your sign. And then you're going to release like maybe some power struggles with other people. Or maybe you are going to feel very emotionally attached towards someone that is like providing you a lot of happiness and luck within the relationship realm. And there can be a very powerful intertwinement between like these energies, between what you offer in a relationship versus what you receive. And you can actually receive some very positive big blessings through other people, and maybe that might put you in like a higher position of authority, or like just like bigger power. It's not Saturn, it's Pluto. So a higher position of power. You also need to look at how your emotions affect your kind of controlling, manipulative dynamics, and something needs to be transformed in that. So this is like the most intense emotions of the entire year. And it's also about like purging, cleansing, healing, and regaining lost power that you like lost by other people as well. Something is getting restored here. So yeah, let me know how that goes for you, my dear Aquarius. And I wish you actually a lot of luck. We have Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, my dear Pisces, you're gonna have the new moon in Cancer in the fifth house. Most positive house for you. The fifth house rules over fun, romance, dating, children. It's also the house of creativity. New moons here tend to plant a new seed, but Mercury is going retrograde. So if you have children, then a lot of stuff is probably coming up with them. There can be a lot of misunderstandings from the past that need to be like re-talked about in some kind of way. Mars Uranus is happening in your fourth house. Be careful about accidents at home. Cut off the power before you go to bed. Do not charge your e-bike while you're sleeping. Yeah, it's just like also tell your kids to do the same. Maybe your kids break something within the home. That is also a possibility. Or maybe your kids have something with their lungs or their hands, or like, yeah, especially the arms also. This can be a little bit of a chaotic time in regards to like having to deal with everyday stuff that is connected to children and your household. Jupiter enters your sixth house. That is a planet of amplification within your house of daily routine. So expansion of work, and Jupiter is actually your traditional chart ruler, so very important. But it's actually trying to show you that you need to add more fun and more excitement within your daily routine and environment. If you already are very busy at your job, then it's only going to be amplified, unfortunately. Maybe for some of you, you're going to be very happy that you're going to get more work. So also, what else? New moons in the fifth is definitely like planting a seed that is connected to like attraction, flirtation, dating, having fun, letting your creative juices flow, making sure something gets born in some kind of way. It can be a very creative time for you, honestly. But then also, um, you need to like bridge the spiritual and the practical here with your chart ruler Jupiter entering into your sixth house. So not imagining like it's not enough to imagining the future anymore. You need to create it now, and Jupiter is going to help you and amplify you. That is actually very beautiful. Both of your chart rulers are actually going to be in a trine on the 20th of July. Oh my god, that is going to be so special for you guys. uh, Jupiter in his sixth will try Neptune in his second. There can be like a new opportunity connected to work that is going to increase your finances, or you're going to add way more spirituality, or like a way more spiritual vision towards what you offer on a daily basis and what you do for a living, or how you create your own income. So you can actually monetize your psychic gifts here, Pisces. If you're like thinking about, do I need to like become more entrepreneurial? You can. That's the fifth house and the new moon. Mercury retrograde is giving you ample of time to think about that. Your chart ruler Jupiter jumps in the sixth house. increasing the service that you offer on a daily basis, making it more fun, making it more abundant. And it's going to try Neptune in your second house of income. Oh my God, you can definitely monetize your spiritual gifts. And maybe you do not have a clear sense of your own self worth. Jupiter and Neptune in a harmonious trine are going to give you so much creation, inspiration, imagination, a new vision. It's going to be very beautiful, my dear Pisces. So, work on your self esteem issues if you have that. You can rewire something in that right now, and that is going to have a positive effect on your finances. So this is actually good news. Having a new moon in Cancer, it's trining also your sun, moon, or rising, so it's supportive like energy for you. Very beautiful. Make good use of that and have some fun as well. You need to go back to passion projects from the past. Mercury retrograde. If you have been putting something you're excited about on the shelf, take it off the shelf, re-implement it in your life, and you're gonna see that things are gonna start flowing more. So thank you, Katie. Thanks for the fireworks. But the real fireworks are gonna be on the 3rd and the 4th of July, Katie. Watch what happens. That is gonna be the real fireworks. Um all right, Pisces. Then to end, we see the full moon in your 12th house. So again, very mystical house. The 12th house is where we are unconscious about certain patterns. But you, my dear Pisces, you're more able in an easy way to tap into these blind spots or within the like mystical side of life. Of course, you're like a Pisces, so that is actually very wonderful for you. But the full moons are releases within the house of endings. This is a very big healing, a very big transformative energy within the realms of your dreams, subconscious, and spirituality. This is going to be such a deeply emotional full moon, and something that was hidden is going to come to the surface. A fear is going to be released. There can be an emotional burden that might finally be processed. Maybe finally you're going to get like the guts or like the balls, or how do I say it in a more polite kind of way? You're finally going to have like the energy to look at it and to transform that. Like Pluto is going to force you anyway. If you're going to try to avoid it, because the 12th house is avoidance and Pisces can be the sign of escapism. Well, Pluto now is going to be like, nope, you're not avoiding that any longer. Here's what's this, and you're going to have to deal with it right now. But very beautiful energy to release old anxieties, old wounds, old emotional patterns. Trust the process, you guys. Surrender. It's gonna be a good one, Pisces, but this one can be a little bit more intense. But then look, Jupiter, Sun in your 6th house. It's about balancing your mental and your physical health. If you're able to do that, fine. If you're not going to be able to do that, then the 12th house is also the house of isolation, or the house of the hospital, or the house of like monasteries, temples, spiritual places. All of that can definitely help you to like master the energy of this very intense full moon. So maybe you need to go into isolation by yourselves, or do it like on purpose and connect with your divine guides. They're gonna have a lot to say to you during this time. And otherwise, if you're gonna fight it and neglect it and be in substance abuse or escapism, then you might be really confronted with how you destruct yourself and sabotage yourself. And it's going to be so obvious that you're no longer going to be able to like pretend nothing's happening or pretend that everything is fine. And that can actually be a good thing, Pisces. So do not freak out about that. By then, Mercury will be back direct in your 5th house. So sextiling Venus in the 7th. Love and partnerships are under a very good energy during that time. So yeah, all right. Good luck, Pisces. That was it for today. Thank you guys also much for watching. And if you guys want to book in a session, be sure to click the link in the description box below. I'm already booking in end of August. So if you want to have more understanding about these upcoming Mercury and also Venus retrogrades in the sign of Scorpio, then I would advise you very strongly to book in your spot in time. Otherwise, I will not be able to explain all of that to you. And it's actually going to be a very profound time Also next year with the Mars retrograde. I'm already touching upon 2027 within my um, astrology sessions, of course. So thank you so much for all the sweet comments in the chat and for being so on fire today and with like giving me so much confirmation and for making me feel so welcome amongst every one of you. And yeah, I'm just like very grateful for getting to know so many supportive people. And I'm very, very grateful to be able to share this all with you guys. So, have a very good month ahead. It's going to be a pretty special one. It's going to be one for the history books. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. I think that is the best thing that we can do in July. Enjoy the show and enjoy Jupiter in Leo. Have fun. Do not create too much drama. Be very careful in the first week of July with Mars Uranus. Do not create chaotic, disruptive energy if it's not necessary. Rebel against the right people and be a little bit more careful about not hurting yourself. So, love you guys all so much, and I'll see you back soon with another video. Bye bye. Have a good Sunday.